Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring a truly fascinating 2012 book by Jean-Marie Lasques called Hidden America. Think for a second about a massive, elaborate theater production, right? We all see the lead actors shining under those bright stage lights, taking the applause. But who is up in the rafters running the heavy rigging? Who's rapidly pulling the curtains? And who is managing the complex soundboard in the pitch dark? Well, that is the overarching mystery we're looking at today. How do the unseen systems of America actually run, and who are the very real people operating them?
Okay, let's dive into this. Who really makes this country work? Because every single day, you and I rely on a massive, invisible network of labor. We flip a switch and expect the lights to immediately come on, without a second thought to the grid behind it. We go to the grocery store and just expect the shelves to be perfectly stocked with fresh produce, even in the dead of winter. We drop our trash on the curb and expect it to magically vanish by noon. But who are the people actually doing the heavy lifting to make those everyday conveniences possible? We rarely stop to think about the invisible labor we rely on, yet kind of ignore every single day. Honestly, it's no wonder this book gained massive critical acclaim when it dropped, even being chosen by Oprah Winfrey as a must-read. The author, Jean-Marie Lasques, is actually an English professor at the University of Pittsburgh, but she wasn't content to just sit in an ivory tower. She set out on a really clear mission. She definitely didn't want to write a dry economic textbook filled with abstract labor statistics. Instead, her goal was to deeply explore the lives of ordinary Americans with immense creativity and profound compassion. She essentially traded her comfortable academic life to get her boots muddy out in the field, absolutely determined to bring the actual humans behind the machinery into the spotlight.
And to pull this off, she embedded herself across the country, exploring 9 wildly distinct occupations. We're talking everything from dropping deep into coal mines and pulling backbreaking shifts with migrant farm workers to embedding with professional cheerleaders and pacing the floor with air traffic controllers. She also spends intimate time with people in gun sales, cattle ranching, oil drilling, long-distance truck driving, and landfill management. It is a wildly diverse, almost dizzying list of jobs, isn't it? It literally covers the length, breadth, and depth of the American landscape, offering us a window into lives most of us will never, ever experience firsthand.
So, to make sense of this dizzying list, Lasques essentially divides these 9 occupations into 2 distinct categories. On one side, we have the unseen foundation. These are the essential, foundational jobs that literally keep the country alive and functioning. Basically, if these jobs stop, the country stops. Then, on the other side, we have the fascinating outliers. These are the unexpected professions included in the text that might not keep the power grid running, but they offer an incredible, in-depth look into completely unique corners of American culture.
Let's zoom in on that first category for a second, the foundation. These are the systems we rely on, but rarely pay attention to. To really grasp this, let's use a real-life analogy. Think of the country as a giant, living human body. Long-distance truck driving, well, that's the bloodstream. Imagine a trucker navigating an 80,000-pound rig through a midnight blizzard, constantly pumping vital nutrients, or in this case, consumer goods, across the nation's highways. Air traffic control, that's the central nervous system, processing millions of data points and making split-second decisions to keep thousands of metal tubes flying at 500 miles per hour from crashing into each other. Landfill management is the digestive system, quietly and efficiently handling the immense, staggering amount of waste we produce daily. And migrant farm work, those are the muscles doing the grueling physical lifting and the sweltering heat required to literally feed the body. Despite their immense life-or-death importance, Americans are often entirely unaware of the individuals serving as these vital organs.
But then there are those 2 specific exceptions that really stand out: professional cheerleading and gun sales. Now, you might be wondering, why include these alongside coal miners and cattle ranchers? Well, Lasques included them not because they are the invisible foundations of our infrastructure, but simply because she was utterly fascinated by worlds she didn't quite understand. She approaches these outliers with a deep, genuine curiosity. She's essentially grabbing the reader by the hand and bringing us along on her journey to figure out the inner workings of these highly specific American subcultures. She really wants to know what drives the people in these incredibly niche spaces.
And no matter which job she's exploring, her approach is driven by one core philosophy: telling their stories with both creativity and compassion. Rather than trying to summarize massive, faceless industries, Lasques narrows her focus. She focuses intimately on just 1 or 2 individuals per profession to present their lives respectfully. She doesn't just interview a coal miner from a safe distance. No, she puts on the hard hat, descends 500 feet into the absolute pitch-black earth, breathes in the thick dust, and just listens. She sits in the cramped cabs of 18-wheelers for hundreds of miles just to hear a driver's life story.
It's such a powerful reminder that behind every massive system is an individual person waking up at 4 a.m., putting on their boots, and doing the hard work.
Which leads us directly into her methodology. First, she gets to know the subjects on a deeply human level, sharing meals and long shifts with them. Second, she presents their lives objectively. And third, and this is perhaps the most difficult part, she intentionally keeps personal politics completely out of it. Let's be honest here. Jobs like oil drilling, coal mining, and gun sales carry massive political implications in today's world. But Laskus maintains strict political neutrality. She acts as a clear window, allowing us to see these workers and their daily realities without the heavy cloud of partisan debates. By removing that partisanship, Laskus simply invites us to admire the intense commitment required for each of these vital jobs. She really celebrates their skill, dedication, and determination. Whether it's the sheer physical toll and endurance of a cattle rancher working from dawn till dusk, the precise technical focus of an oil driller managing volatile pressures, or the hypervigilance of an air traffic controller handling thousands of lives in the sky, we're left with a profound sense of awe for the capability these Americans possess. It is absolutely a testament to human resilience. Which brings us to a final, provocative thought to leave you with today. Next time you flip a light switch, eat a meal, or toss your trash, who are the unseen people making it happen? This explainer really only scratches the surface of the amazing, deeply human stories Laskus uncovered. I highly encourage you to dive into the source material yourself, because once you realize just how much invisible labor goes into your perfectly ordinary day, you are never going to look at a garbage truck, a towering power line, or even a simple piece of fruit the exact same way again.